What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new installment of the Koop'd Up podcast, a podcast that is always looking out for the little guy. And as always, folks, my name is Koopa, and it's been a while, but I used to do this thing where I would, make a podcast every week. We talk about pop culture and everything in between with a friend of mine or two on the show. And I've missed you guys. It has been kind of a hectic couple of months. We have not had an episode uploaded in a few months, but everything's cool. I'm alive. I'm not dead. I'm not stuck in the quantum realm, where I'm getting my face pounded in by Jonathan Majors. I'm alive. I'm good. This will be coming out after a cooped update video I got coming up. Just kind of tell everybody what's going on. So I won't bore you with the details, but just know that we're back and we're going to be back to making content on a somewhat regular basis here. And to join me on the revamped, the first episode of 2023, I have brought with me returning guests, friend, DJ, esports commentator extraordinaire, two-time Patrick Mahomes jersey owner. The only Kansas City Chiefs fan I keep in my personal circle. It is Banjo. Banjo, what's up, brother? How are you?
Man, I am doing well. It is the start of the new year. Unfortunately, only 4 days remaining. Well, 2 days remaining in this Black History Month, but we're still up, baby, and it's all good. It is all good. I'm here. I'm with you. We're here to do what we love, which is talk about everything that we've just missed in this hiatus, good or bad, which, depending on how you look at it. So I'm really excited. I'm super excited to be back.
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm excited to have you back. I was kind of circling this date of when I was going to make a return. There was some stuff that was in the works in the past. Long story short, I ended up moving and I ended up starting a new job. So it's a matter of just getting the work life balance back into shape again. And now I got time to make some content. So we're gonna have a pretty jam-packed episode for you guys today. Myself and Banjo, kind of circle around the same hemisphere of content that we, both enjoy.
For sure.
So I figured what better person to bring on to talk about two of the most anticipated movies of the year. We're going to be covering both of them today. For if you were paying close attention to the context clues, we're going to be talking. For the most part, we're going to be talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and Cocaine Bear, two movies that are on very opposite spectrums of each other, but both did pretty decently in the box office this weekends. And but I think before we get there, let's play some catch up. There's been some stuff that's come out, recently. I mean, we're right on the heels of Oscar season.
Yes.
So, now is no better time than not to, if you haven't been checking off your bingo cards, there's still a few movies on my list I still have to watch. But let's talk some of the other stuff. Banjo, what are some of your what have you been enjoying lately? What have you watched within the last couple months that you really liked that you want to give a shout out to? Where's your content brain at right now?
Man, first off, I want to give a huge shout out to my boss, Jeff Landry, who's resting in heaven right now. The craziest thing happened. So it was last year where he passed, and I remember the last thing he asked to do before he passed was, "Hey, let's hang out." And I couldn't because I was at working my normal job. And usually he takes us on these movie outings, where we just get the theater, we go have some popcorn. He's a big moviegoer enjoyer. And the movie that I missed out on before he passed and didn't get a chance to go watch with him was Top Gun Maverick. And the crazy thing about that is that I sat there and watched that entire movie from front to back, and I was so just wowed and enamored by. I started the movie over and I just watched it again. I spent 4 hours watching Top Gun, and it was just when I think of cinema, one of these movie going experiences, right? To where it's bro, this is the quintessential Hollywood blockbuster, right? We don't have a lot of CGI going. We have practical effects. We have great actors and good performances and an enthralling story, like that's Hollywood to me, and that's like cinema to me. So watching that movie, I see why it was nominated for a best movie for at the Oscars, right? Avatar, I don't know how why I got there. I think that was just James James Cameron plot armor. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. It
I'm
feels
not gonna
like it.
lie to you. It felt like it to me. Other stuff I've been getting into. I just recently finished, even though I'm late. I just recently finished Better Call Saul. I thought that
Ooh.
that was like I thought like damn, like that's really good. That was a really amazing ride. My game backlog is slowly just it's not getting out of control, but I have yet to play Dead Space, and that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite franchises, like period. I haven't played Hi-Fi Rush at yet for the Xbox. I Metroid Prime did that crazy drop earlier, and now people are selling their copies on eBay for like 10 grand. It's wild, bro.
Oh my
They're
god.
taking their hard book copy, and they're just like, all right, we'll sell on eBay, and they're selling it for like $10,000. And it's just like some of this stuff is actually like selling. It's wild. And Chiefs won the Super Bowl, but I knew they were going to do that at the beginning of the season. It doesn't matter to me. I knew. Everybody else didn't. um, uh, oh man, and then of course in the world of esports, as of recently, I um I took like a hiatus a little bit again from Smash Brothers because it was October of last year to where no, it was actually September. Yeah, it'll be September where I just went full in on Street Fighter because I love that game and I wanted to like take my talents and see where they would get me in a different direction. So I did that. I'm still doing it, right? And then throughout all the midst of that, Capcom decides to say, "Hey, here's $2 million in a prize pool for Capcom Cup next year." So it's wild, bro. So for Street Fighter 6, it's definitely going to be an amazing time, and I honestly can't wait. It's getting closer and closer. There's a lot of like big events happening in my city specifically, Houston, to where that game is involved. So I can't wait for that. Of course, Collision is coming up. Genesis happened, bro, for Smash Brothers, and like the competition for like Smash Brothers. It seems like it's not only ever changing, but the hype just never dies, which is one of these weird things, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and like finally, Collision, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to be there. I
And I'm
forgot to
gonna
put
miss
in
you
the
very much.
application.
Oh
I forgot to put in the application, bro. Yo, I
Oh
was
my
like, I
god.
listen, I had it on a sticky note, and I was like, okay, look, you need to make sure you apply for this. All right, we have a list of things that I applied to this year, and um, I was like, I haven't gotten an email from them yet. I was like, huh, that's weird. I texted RJ, and he was like, did you not put in an application? And I said, huh? He was like, you didn't put in an application. I was like, oh, my bad. He was like, it's okay. But I'm not tripping about it. I will find my way up to the tri-state area eventually. So I will fight this year. I will be up there. I'm not tripping, but man, I saw the commentary lineup for Collision, and I'm just like, bro, I couldn't have picked better people. I couldn't have picked better people my damn self, honestly. And not only that, it's just people that like I've come up with in the community that I've been in this for like 4 or 5 years, and it's just like I've gotten to know you and Has and so many others, and it's just like, bro, like you are all like really really good people, and man, I'm gonna get a little sad just because I'm missing out, but the fact of the matter, the tournament's still in good hands, so it's just like I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, man. Listen, number one, I'm gonna miss you a lot. So it's always fun when we have to kick it with each other. I'm also looking forward to it, obviously, because it's a 20-minute drive from my house. So
Yes.
any sort of small minimal. I'm a fan of making big moves. I'm also a fan of making small, fuel efficient moves. So that works out for me. But honestly, I find it quite funny because a lot of our number one, a lot of what we've been watching, what we've been enjoying, I've really fallen within the same airspace. I'll touch on that in a second. Obviously, Smash is something that is still ever changing. Like you mentioned, we are still in the thick of what's supposed, a very competitive first half of the year right now. Obviously, events are scarce, and where my schedule lies past Collision, I don't know. I got some things in the docket, but I wanted this year, for me at least, in the realms of esports, kind of like what you're doing. I wanted to flex a different competitive muscle. I kind of wanted to broaden my horizons, kind of, finally do that thing that every esports commentator wants to do, but nobody ever truly ever, only
Right.
after beating yourself over the head a couple of times to do it, you finally do it. Let's play some other games and try some other stuff out. So for years I've tried Guilty Gear, I've tried other stuff, just other fighting games in general. I tried Street Fighter for a little bit myself, but nothing was really sticking for me. And then one of my friends recently started playing the Pokemon trading card game again. And he was like, "Hey, listen, he's like, if you're trying to sweat, I don't mind sweating." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll give it a try." And bro, you should see my desk right now. It is a fucking mess of Pokemon cards with
Bro.
wrappers.
I know so
It's a
many
nightmare.
people who have gotten into TGC just as of recently, bro, and they are in love with that card game, bro. It's wild.
It's the best, baby. I'm not saying I have my Astral Radiance, player's guide right on my desk right now, but
I'm
I
telling
just
you,
happen to have it.
shout out to Mr. Magyar as well, bro. There was a tournament a couple weeks ago. It's one of the premier Street Fighter 5 locals, right? And he was just like, "Yeah, I lost them winners, so yeah, I'm just gonna play TGC. I'm out of here," and just DQ'd from losers completely. And that's how much of a stranglehold that this card game has, like, on in our community right now. And I'm just like, bro, like, I need to see what's up with this.
Real, man. Like, there's been times where I'm playing with a couple of friends right now, other people in the Smash Brothers community who also just happen to be playing Pokemon, and I'll be going to our weeklies, not even to play Smash, just to play cards. Like, I haven't had this much fun learning how to play something since since I started playing Smash for the first time, and it's been a lot of fun. There's tons of resources out there if you're ever interested. Just follow me on Twitter, because I just don't shut up about it. It's my biggest thing. So yeah, if you like Pokemon, talk to me about it. I'm all about that. As we're also on the heels of Pokemon Presents tomorrow, so
Yes.
we'll see what that entails. That's another podcast. We'll get there, but what's it called? So as for what I've been consuming, for the last couple of months, obviously Top Gun Maverick is a big one. That was, I think, my second favorite movie of the year.
Yeah.
It was so good. Everything Everywhere All at Once is still like right there. Like that movie, I saw that movie.
God.
Like, both that and Top Gun had the same effect on me, where it's just like I wanted to take everybody that I know to see those two movies. So it's
Right.
like
Right.
it's like if I took I made my friends go see Everything Everywhere. I watched it once by myself. I saw it again with someone else. Like, I'm just trying to preach the gospel of how amazing that movie is, and I hope it cleans up at the Academy Awards. And the same thing with Top Gun. The original Top Gun, I've said this time and time again, it's so 80s cheese. It's like so peak 80s, like, that you can't help but love it. And so when I went to go see Top Gun Maverick, I wasn't expecting, to be blown away the way that I was by a cinema experience. I saw it in IMAX. If you did not see this movie,
My God.
oh bro,
My God, dude.
it was nuts. It was so good.
Bro, I'm watching this and I'm just be like, I was like, there's absolutely no way that Tom Cruise is flying this jet like this right now, bro. And then I'm watching, like, the interviews on YouTube or whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm an actual jet pilot." I'm just like, what can this man not do? Like, this is wild. And, like, the fact that they have the technology to film it the way they did, and it's just like, bro, this is
Right.
mind numbing, bro.
Yeah, it was cinema. It was fantastic. So
Yes.
that movie was very high on my list of films that I watched last year. I have my list written somewhere on a letterbox. I'll get to that at some point at another time. Let's see, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Really good, really solid. I'd say a fair tribute to Chadwick Boseman, as we're going to get into another Marvel movie here as
Yeah.
we say goodbye to Phase 4 and into Phase 5, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in detail as we get there. But I really enjoyed Black Panther 2. After seeing it again, it's there's the flaws maybe stand out a little bit more, but it's still a very solid movie. I'd say
Yeah.
considering how if you've had problems with how Phase 4 was kind of a little all over the place and like not super self serious, that movie will like palate cleanse you to and then make you cry a lot.
Yeah, it was one of these situations to where like the movie did have its flaws. I will say that with full transparency, but given the circumstances, it's just like give him a break, bro. Like that the fact that the director Ryan Coogler had to overcome all of that, had to overcome the challenges with the negative press at the beginning, Chadwick passing away, and then rewriting a story, and then it being better than literally the top two Marvel movies in existence. It's just like you got a lot to overcome, bro. And it's just like the fact that you were able to make a pretty decent movie after all of that. You're a wizard because no, I don't think any other director has literally come up with has literally had to face like a challenge like that before. So I applaud Ryan Coogler. I thought the movie was good. Like I said, of course the movie had a couple things wrong with it in my opinion, but it's just like I think we can just give this movie a pass, like the rare cooped up pass, bro. Like for real.
Yeah, we will. I wholeheartedly agree. And we'll talk more about the full Marvel of it all. Once we get to the Ant-Man review.
Right.
I also finished Better Call Saul in my break.
Bro-
I binge watched Breaking Bad over the summer.
Wait,
It's a show.
you've never seen Breaking Bad?
I never saw Breaking Bad.
Bro, my God.
I finished everything within the last few months. I started binge watching Breaking Bad over the summer,
What a
and I
ride.
binged it, and it was best show I've ever seen in my entire life. It was so good. It was a
What a
trip.
ride. What a ride. And then you turned around and watched Better Call Saul.
And then that
Oh.
became the best show I've ever seen of all time.
Man, and like I couldn't imagine just like watching them like so close together. You know what I mean? Like
I
one after
definitely
the
should have given
other.
myself a break.
No, and like it's one of these things to where it's just like you immediately just like get the parallels, right? From
Yeah.
both shows. But it is a lot because like I watched Breaking Bad whenever it like first started, like back in the early 2000s or whatever, early 2010s or whatever. And like it was just one of these things to where the first season it was just like but then it was like but then you saw season 1 episode 9 and 10 and you were just like
Yeah.
holy shit, like this is really good. And it's just like when it picks up, but then they just started like the building blocks and the character development, and it was just like, bro, this is I can't get enough of this, bro.
It's insane, man. Like it was so well written. I love the way they were able to like feed it. They were able to weave everything into each other. Just like the tragic story of James McGill is one of the best stories ever written. Kim Wicks is one of the best TV characters of all time. Like put her on the Mount Rushmore. Like
Right.
Ray Seahorn was in her bag, like like coming off they on the Ringers Rewatchables podcast, they refer to as like the Dion Waiters Award, where you just come off the bench and you score 18 points in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So she's just out here. It's like it's just she's like 5 for 6 from 3-pointers. Like she's crushing it every
It was
instance
one
that she is on the show.
it was
It's
one
so
of those
good.
like things to where she was just like every time she touched the screen, especially like after season 3, it was just like she was just electric like every time, bro. And it was one of these
Yep.
situations to where seeing her development, it was just like one of these tragic like Shakespearean things. Like, it's like I know like this is bad and I know I shouldn't be doing this, but I really can't quit this guy like at all. I
Yeah.
can't stop. And like it wasn't until like the last episode where she finally had a come to Jesus moment, and it was just like, oh wow, I'm really fucking up. I really fucked up my life fucking with this guy. God, like,
Yeah.
it's insane how Vince Gilligan did this twice.
Yeah. That's that. Like we said, like the impossible task, like we just mentioned, that Ryan Coogler was faced with trying to follow up one of the best, IPs of all time in most people's eyes, and trying to follow it up with what's considered by many a pretty great movie. Vince Gilligan just going through 2 for 2, like
Yeah.
with two of the best shows on television. It was phenomenal. That it blew my mind, and I'm so happy that I finally got around to watching it after years of being bullied by my friends to finally do it. I'm still currently watching, and by the time this podcast comes out, it'll already be out. The Last of Us is the best show on TV right now. If you're looking for something to watch currently,
Free. It's not even close.
It's so good. My man, Daddy Pedro, the best dad on television. I'm so ready for like the first, my quarterly dose of Pedro Pascal. Once the Mandalorian airs in a couple of weeks, he's like. We'll get there once the show airs. But I absolutely love the choices they made with The Last of Us. I would love to, I won't go too into depth now because I want to wait for the show to finish so I can give it a proper episode that it deserves.
Yes.
But the environments, the makeup, the characters are all, it's, and even the creative choices they made, not spoiling anything, but like it is so, it's still managed to stay so authentic to the original source material. And I love the creative differences they've made to where they have those options to veer away to make the story just like that, to enhance the story that much more. It's the best show on television for free, and if you're not watching it, you're fucking up. I'm sorry, you're fucking up, folks.
For anybody who's like watching this podcast and happens to be watching, I'll give you the name of the episode, right? So the episode tonight is Left Behind, right? And y'all, look, if The Last of Us hasn't if The Last of Us hasn't fucked you up yet, it's going to. Like tonight is the night. And the season finale, whenever that is, that's the night. But tonight is definitely the night if you're gonna get fucked up by an episode. Like,
I got my ice cream and a warm blanket, bro, all ready for when
if you have a person, bro, go find that person, call that person, bro, because it's one of these things to where just like I played The Last of Us, which, by the way, quick side note, if anybody hasn't played The Last of Us Part 1, it's coming out on PC in the month of March. It's already out for PlayStation consoles. Find a way to play the game. It's literally top 3 game in existence. Find a way to play the game at least once. Just once.
One of the best games I've ever played.
Right. So the way the episodes have gone, I'm in fucking love with the creative differences because they made it for TV, right? And they wanted to make sure that it's just like no weird inconsistencies or lull time or anything like that for the episodes or whatever. And like one of the things that that I think that this show does like particularly well is just staying as true to they can to the source material and showing that this can work while we put our own spin on it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we're talking, there's going to be plenty of time to talk video game adaptations as the years go on. As the year goes on, we're going to have the Mario movie coming out. There's going to be all this other stuff that pops up. But I will say, and I've read multiple articles that also echo this sentiment. If you're going to adapt a video game and anything, adapt it into a TV series. You just have so much more time to flesh out what you want to do. Look at what Uncharted could have been and what it turned out to be.
Oh,
and look at things like The Witcher and now The Last of Us and how it's just like, so well adapted, or like things, or the other things that have failed in the past, like let's see, Assassin's Creed, just like these really awful adaptations of these games that are really good. So it's like they would have made great TV shows, I feel like.
That has to be like ball drop of like the century, no? Because like for every new season you get like just a new a new descendant, right?
Yeah,
Of Altair, right? Oh my god! In
it
the new
writes itself.
era. Oh no, Ubisoft! What are y'all doing? No,
If anybody works for
not like
Ubisoft watches
this,
this, just my emails in my Twitter bio, so you get that one for free. I will
bro.
write it for you.
That's literally that's a period piece every season. That's a new period piece every season. Oh my god, no, not like this. Oh, jeez. And it hurts me too because like I think of like every just movie property that has just fell on its face and it's just like, you know what? If y'all made this into a TV show, that's kind of like hand over fist. I don't know if you're I don't know if you're a Super Sentai fan, but I will say that like the Power Rangers movie, it's like come on guys. it's a, it's an easy transition for just it. Why don't you just make a live action remake of Mighty Morphin? Come on, guys, it's the lowest hanging fruit y'all can get.
Yeah,
I don't know,
that's what I'm saying.
and it's stuff like that. Like the fact that they didn't do Invincible as a movie but did as a TV show is yes, I totally agree, genius, right?
And season 2 of that comes out this year too, suppose apparently. So how
Listen,
about
and you're cultured because I tell people, bro, just read it, just read Invincible, bro.
I have the whole thing on my desk right now. Like it's
Just
on
read
my
Invincible
nightstand.
with what's
Read it.
coming up. Like the goofball shit is about to start, bro. Like season one was nothing, bro. Like oh my god, bro, I can't wait. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, man, I'm so excited. But yeah, that's a lot of the content that we've missed, the last couple of months. If anything else comes up along the way, we'll of course, make reference to it. But yeah, we are here to talk about again two of the most anticipated movies and films of movies slash films. You know what I'm trying to say. It's again a lot of moving parts here this weekend. So yeah, so about a week ago, actually exactly a week ago, or more than a week ago, time moves differently into quantum realm. Let's see what I did there. We were blessed with. Let me make sure I'm getting this right with where we are. It is the 31st movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. 31, and the kickoff to what is Phase 5 of the MCU. We are here. We finally arrived at Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. It is directed by Peyton Reed, written by Jeff Loveness, and again produced by Kevin Feige and Stephen Broussard, and it features again a lot of your favorites from the Ant family: Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Catherine Newton making her debut as the ninth person, I guess, to play Cassie Lang in a movie. But also features Michelle Pfeiffer, Michael Douglas, and introduces Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror. So I figured let's talk a little bit big picture, how we feel about Phase 4, the stuff that got announced, Phase 5, Phase 6, where our heads are kind of at, and where we feel about this movie now. So I'll leave the floor to you. Obviously, again, a lot has happened since we had our last podcast. Marvel has since announced what their Phase 5 and Phase 6 slates are for the most part. We now know where the end game for this is all going to be, where it all eventually is going to tie up in Secret Wars, like we've been talking about ad nauseum on the podcast in the past. So where's your brain at now? Banjo. We wrapped up with Phase 4 with whatever that sophomore year type stuff was, and now we're here kicking off Phase 5 and looking at the slate down below. How are you feeling? Are you confident that Marvel's going to be able to stick the landing a second time here?
So I will say that now I'm not too confident that Marvel can stick the landing a second time. Now, not to say that God knows I would love to be proven wrong, but that's kind of been the whole theme of this podcast, right? Getting it right a second time, right, is one of the more difficult things to pull off in this medium of art, whether it be movies, video games, music. Like getting it right a second time, or excuse me, I shouldn't even say getting it right a second time. I'll say lightning in a bottle for a second time can be difficult. So I'm glad you brought this up. I'm glad we're finally here at the Ant-Man review because I want to bring up a couple interesting facts. So
go ahead.
Thor: The Dark World came out in 2013, right? And when
Yes.
that movie dropped, it was the de facto bad Marvel movie, which I want to go into another sub point. Okay, guys, let's be real. Y'all know what a bad movie actually looks like. Okay,
Yes.
you know what a bad movie actually looks like. Movie 43, Baby Geniuses, Green Lantern,
Oh yeah, that's a
what's
bad
that?
movie.
The Olivia Wilde movie that just came out. What's that
Oh,
movie?
don't worry, darling. Yeah, that movie
Don't Worry,
sucks.
Darling. Yeah,
That
y'all.
movie was awful.
We have to eliminate this over exaggerated language about what a bad film actually is, because you've seen it, you've experienced it, you know what it looks like. It gets lauded for years. Thor is always going to be in the conversation because it sits in the middle. Some people say it's good, some people say it's bad, and that's where it should be, right? So that movie dropped in 2013, right? It was the last, aka divisive, one of the last divisive movies, right? From 2014, right? From 2014 all the way until 2020, Marvel released nothing but bangers every year. Imagine making not good movies. Not good movies, bangers. Imagine making straight bangers for 6 straight years. Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Panther, Ant Man and the Wasp, Avengers Endgame. Like, imagine a 6 year run of releasing nothing but bangers. Like
Yeah,
like that's for any movie studio, for most movie studios, that's unheard of. Think about it, right? So I bring this up because you get a movie like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and then when you get movies like this that don't fit into the category, right? It's just like, okay, we're gonna damn the movie to hell for what? Why? I get that the movie isn't up to the standard that we made. Okay, I get it, but we have to, as a Marvel fan and as a cinema fan, you also have to learn something. It's called tempering your expectations. Okay, like, it's something that needs to be done. Right? Ant-Man and the Wasp is a movie that checks all the boxes of a decent film. Right now, did the film have a bunch of mistakes that it made and creative differences that I don't agree with? Absolutely, right? We get that Kang is the press kit. We get it, right? But that first act was trash.
yeah,
Awful. That first act was badly written. It was terribly paced. It, like, basically everything that I did not like about the Eternals was in that first act.
yeah.
It was in that first
you,
act of the movie.
you hit the nail right on the
Honestly.
head.
So, and I say this because, like, I haven't felt this compelled about a villain since, like, in the Marvel universe, since Kingpin. Like he got on screen, I was just like, is he gonna fucking kill these guys, like, right here? Like, is he really gonna do this? I'm super happy that that's the presence I felt. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of these strange things, right? Because this is the multiversal saga, right?
Mhm.
Well, it's like one of these. It's the trick of the multiverse, right? If everything is infinite, does anything truly matter? Technically,
It's
from a
true.
movie director's standpoint, if everything is infinite, I can just keep retconning characters if I really want to. I can bring whoever back to do whatever I want at any given time. Now, that for the multiversal saga, in terms of writing, I feel that that is dangerous. It is, because you can really shoehorn some shit that people may not like. But I will say, at the same time, you can come up with some very ultra compelling story and writing if it is done correctly. So Marvel right now is doing this balancing act of, like, hey, we're gonna see what works, And if it works, it works. And if it don't, then okay, we got a little bit of leeway. We're Marvel after all. Somebody will like it, but it's one of these. But it's one of these things to where like you kind of have to be careful. Now, there's no world to where Marvel's is gonna be, tanking movies like others have done in the past, but it's one of these things to where Marvel is definitely in an experimental phase right now. Because we can't, because as much as I would love to be drip fed what already works, I do like new stuff. That's what's going to keep me interested.
Sure. Yep.
So,
Yeah.
if I had to, so like honestly, that's where I'm at with the universe, with the the multiversal saga as a whole. I feel that it can work, but Marvel, hey, y'all playing a dangerous game. Just saying.
Honestly, you hit a lot of the points I was going to make, like directly on the head. Obviously, Phase 4 felt very like, experimental. And again, the big thing that you have to get out of this is you have to temper your expectations. I feel like a lot of the mistakes people made with Doctor Strange, they made with Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. I feel like we were expecting something much bigger. We're expecting the punches to be thrown at us much harder. And in the realm of Ant-Man, some punches were thrown pretty hard. So, yeah. But in regards to like everybody has been teased of what's to come. We've seen Patrick Stewart return as Charles Xavier. We've seen, we know that Wolverine's coming back at some point. We know that they're hinting at the mutants. We know the Fantastic Four is out there somewhere doing something. So these, as someone looking from the outside in, we know these things are coming at some point. We just want to know, everyone's just excited to get and figure out how we get there. And I'm super excited about that too. I had this prediction for the longest time that this was going to be the movie they introduced the Fantastic Four in. If just substitute out the quantum realm for the negative zone or something like that. And that's how it's like. That's a whole different podcast. but like you said, there are so many. What quantifies as a bad Marvel movie is like a pretty decent movie otherwise. Like you said, I've seen some shit movies. I just watched A Knock at the Cabin. That movie sucked.
Bro, I told people this. I didn't even waste my time, bro. Like
I got debated, man. I thought M. Night was back. I thought he had the sauce again. Turns out I was just painfully mistaken. So, that's again different podcast. Bad movie. Don't watch it. But I think what considering like what people might consider now is like the bad Marvel movies, your Iron Man 2s, your Thor: The Dark Worlds, your Eternals, and now this. It's like, listen, if this is what you consider a bad movie, Marvel's floor is exceptionally high. Like, because that's still a really good movie. Like I said, like you mentioned, the first act of this movie was awful. It was so it was so like I can't understate enough how bad of a first act of a movie this is. I was so taken out. I'm just like, this feels so rushed. It's all over the place pacing wise. Like up until they get to that first real fight. Once Darren Cross shows up again, once we get to that part of the movie, that's when things start to kind of pick up again. And it becomes it becomes much more Marvel. Becomes much more palatable. But despite all that, this movie still looks fantastic visually. If you're a fan of sci-fi, of like any variety, with like specifically like if you like Star Trek or Star Wars, this is gonna be right up your alley. Some of the character designs in this film are peak sci-fi. This movie itself, it feels very different from the rest of the Ant-Man films, which in some instances works and some instances it doesn't. Because what I've always liked how Ant-Man kind of exists in his own little world. He stands on his own 2 feet. He's one of those street level Avengers, kind of like Spider-Man to an extent. And you look at how those first 2 movies kind of panned out genre wise. The first one's a heist film, and and my hot take is that the first Ant-Man movie is a top 5 Marvel movie of all time. That movie is heat. It's like Edgar Wright. They use, granted, majority of what Edgar Wright uses, but that movie is so fucking good. I just recently rewatched it again, and it's phenomenal. It's got Edgar Wright oozing out of it. I love a good heist movie. I shamelessly love the Ocean's franchise for that same reason. Like,
You
I
know what?
love I love a heist film. And the second movie is what it is. It comes out after Avengers Infinity War, so like it's hard, to know eventually where these characters are going to go. But it still had its character moments. It's fun, it was fun seeing Scott and Hope get to figure out that aspect of their relationship. So it was a fun sort of, I guess, buddy cop, whatever you want to call it, genre movie. Um, but and so when I found out that, okay, this is going to be a movie kicking off Phase 5, this is a movie that's going to be introducing Kang the Conqueror after we've been hearing about it shoved down our throats for months. As if you're a comic book fan, you know that Kang is a big deal. He is an Avengers level threat. He is one of the and when Jonathan Majors gets to cook in this movie, he is menacing. He is scary. You fear for what's going to come to the Avengers these next, however many films come out. So I was excited for an Ant-Man movie with stakes. It's we finally get to see Scott Lang with shit on the line, where things actually matter, and where they delivered in those areas, they delivered pretty well. I think but at the same time, this feels the least like an Ant-Man movie than all the other Ant-Man movies, because it doesn't have that. It doesn't necessarily always have those moments of levity, that always stick. I so desperately miss Michael Pena in this movie.
Yeah,
It's like
same.
that I understand why he's not here. It makes sense, but like I'm just so, like, you could have just given me like an alien that looks like Luis or something. Like it's just someone to
Right.
explain something to me. Like I'm very disappointed that there wasn't any of that. But again, what they were able to accomplish here is that we now have the kickoff to the multiverse, and the reason you show up for this film is for Jonathan Majors. So let's talk about it. What did you like about Kang the Conqueror, as we again see him in his what is his most iconic form, one of his most, again, we're gonna get into the other stuff as to the other forms of Kang that exist here, but you arrived for Jonathan Majors, Banjo. How
I
are you
did.
feeling post?
Golly, dude. Like, I was, of course, hyped for this. I love Jonathan Majors as an actor, and I didn't know how he's going to take, being a villain for one of the first times, but in a big franchise like this. But Jesus, I don't know why I doubted him in the first place. That man is just so damn compelling. Every time he hit the screen, I was just like, he's got something cooking, bro. And he's about to give some fire speech. He's about to do something. Like, it just, and like, I'm literally like hooked every time he like gets on screen, like no matter what. Cause he's just like, damn, bro, this guy's a really good actor. And like the role of Kang is just like that much more menacing in his hands. And I will say this as well. I think he is the perfect villain for the Avengers and the perfect villain for Phase 5 in 6. I really do. Now, was he a perfect villain for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania? No. Hot take, I think the villain should have been MODOK. That would
I
have been
agree.
that would have been fucking fire. Like, if you think about who MODOK is as just a character in general, like, how do I describe it? Just imagine a fucking villain from the Evil Dead, bro. Imagine a Sam Raimi villain. That is what MODOK is. And the tone for that to be in an Ant-Man movie would have been perfect. I'm happy Jonathan Majors is here. I'm not really all that impressed that he was basically just used as a press kit. If it was a lesser villain, I would have been fucking pissed. I would have been
Yeah.
so mad. But but because it's Kang, I can definitely mess with it. I love the fact that he was able to just bring like a level of like gravitas and seriousness to this movie that, like you said, it needed. I feel like there definitely needed to be for the third Ant-Man movie and a movie to kick off, the rest of the phase. I felt like that, yes, there definitely need to be a tonal shift, and I feel like Jonathan Majors was definitely the guy to do it, and I feel like Kang is an amazing villain. Not right for the movie, but definitely right for the series and the saga as a whole.
Yeah, you know what? It's so funny because I'm watching Jonathan Majors again. Like I've always been a huge fan of his. You know, he's great in Lovecraft Country. He was great as He Who Remains in Loki, you know, where we first get introduced to the concept of Kang. And again, I blame that show for always, always kind of lighting everybody's expectations up because, like, that show did what everyone's just like, oh, they're never going to introduce something that major in a TV show. And then they did it. And now that's all people want. So thanks,
Yeah.
Loki. So thanks for fucking it up for everybody. But literally. But I agree. I think if Kevin Feige and company had their way, they would have loved to introduce Kang in an Avengers movie or an Avengers-esque movie. I think because of how things kind of shifted around here, maybe, I don't know, because of COVID or whatever. Like, keep in mind, this movie was supposed to come out over the summer. This movie got pushed up into the release bracket. It switched spots with the Marvels, which is now coming out in November. So it's like, wow, like, what the fuck are they going to do this? You know, it's going to be a weird summer vacation, but I like that move for that movie. It gives it some time to breathe. But
yes,
I agree. MODOK, I think, would have been a perfect villain for this movie. I'm confused. It kind of sucks because, like, I guess this means we're never gonna get like a fully realized like AIM like in the MCU.
Oh god, bro, yeah.
Which is, you know, take it or leave it. It is what it is. But you know, we do get introduced to to MODOK in this movie as one Darren Cross from the first Ant-Man film, and I'll talk about him in a second. But again, when Jonathan Majors is cooking, he's so Shakespearean. He feels so menacing and just evil when he's on screen, and he has such great chemistry with everyone he's on screen with. How he's able to talk Scott into going in, diving deep to into wherever he has to go to shrink his power core back down, like the chemistry he has with Michelle Pfeiffer and Janet Van Dyne. And I just want to go out on a limb here. I'm not saying any, I'm sure the internet has caught on to this. And we get introduced to Bill Murray earlier in the movie, who is then the whole secondary plot of this movie is that Janet knows something and nobody wants to, she doesn't want to say what the fuck it is, but that's a whole other plot of the part of the movie that just doesn't work. Janet just being a bad mom and a bad member of society. We eventually get introduced to Bill Murray in this film as what's his character's name again? Hold on, I got Krylar, Lord Krylar. Who's was a former ally of Janet Van Dyne.
God, I didn't even remember his name, bro. Like that. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like he was here for a cup of coffee. So, and then we find out that that Janet and Janet and Krylar were fucking. But as she says, I have needs, Hank. I was down here for 30 years. But here's my hot take, man. You see that flashback where Janet eventually explains, though, she was the first one to make contact with Kang. She sees the infinite lives that he lived. She helped him. She was helping him to fix that spaceship. The chemistry they had, Janet Van Dyne fucked Kang the Conqueror. They were fucking, bro. They had such great chemistry. And that's why she doesn't want to tell anyone what's going on. It's not just a matter of fact, like, Kang has lived millions of lives, has destroyed millions of universes, and could potentially destroy this one. She got her back blown out by Kang the Conqueror, and it just doesn't want to go face the music with it.
You know what? What a juicy ass plot line that would make. Like Jonathan Majors just pulls up and he was like, "You don't remember me? I'm the guy who you fell in love with, who you said that you were gonna fix my ship. You said we were gonna leave together, and you trapped me down here."
Yo, bro, just think about it. He has seen every sex position from every time period. He knows shit that we don't even know that exists yet. He's seen every accoutrement. He's seen every rope tying technique.
Oh yeah,
he's
that
gone
demolition man, bro.
He's gone through time and has collected more information than you and I, any mortal being, can comprehend about sex. He's I'm just looking at the chemistry they have with each other. I'm just like, oh my god, Janet totally fucked Kang, but I'm just like, this is totally my headcanon, and this is not fact or fiction, but Marvel.
It's kind of mine now too. Now that you mention it, to be honest with you, because I'm just like, So you worked with this man over and over again, and there was that scene when they were on the rock. You're
Yeah.
right. Oh my god. This man,
But
Janet Van Dyne, got her some Conqueror, bro. That's
she was
crazy.
conquered. She was
Oh,
conquered,
she
bro.
was Conqueror.
Like she
Oh
like
my god, bro. You're
look,
right.
all I'm saying is if they were able to rewrite the kid in Iron Man 2 as Peter Parker, we could retcon it down the line that Janet and Kang fucked. That's all
Hey,
I'm saying.
multiversal saga. It happened somewhere.
There's a multiverse where they fuck. So
That's all I'm
we'll
saying,
just put a
bro.
pin in it at that. So,
It happened somewhere, bro. It
so
happened somewhere.
now let's talk about the MODOK of it all. Like we mentioned, obviously, is we are
Oh my god,
introduced
bro.
to Corey Stoll, who is Darren Cross in this film. So they are not going with the traditional take on MODOK here. He's after Darren Cross was I guess he was shrunken down to subatomic size after the first Ant-Man movie. All he's left is a giant head with a long ass butt. Like fucking, he's got that he's got that Gutentama ass, like the egg dude. Like my dude's got like he's got a long ass butt, bro. It's fucking crazy.
He's got that long ass day.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's talk about MODOK. Did MODOK work for you in this movie? Because personally, I fucking loved him. I thought MODOK was hilarious.
that's what I'm saying. Like, and the fact that like MODOK was just so like fucking campy, and like the fact that MODOK was just like kind of quippy and just kind of an asshole and a dickhead is just like is exactly how MODOK acts, bro. This is the quintessential. This is the quintessential MODOK. MODOK when MODOK was made, MODOK was like, oh, I'm the mechanical organism designed only for killing. I'm literally top one smartest being on the planet. It doesn't matter. I don't care what you're talking about. That's literally Darren before he got shrunk to subatomic size. And it's just like it would have been so crazy to be like, and this is my headcanon to where it's like, oh, something is rivaling Hope Van Dyne's company, but I don't know what it is. And our designs have been getting stolen. We don't know what they are. We've been trying to find out who's been doing this, and we can't find out who's been doing this. Little did they know it's AIM in disguise. They go and get the quote unquote CEO like Bill Murray, and it's just like I didn't do any of this. Okay, so who did? And
Yeah.
then we find out it's MODOK who's been doing it all. And MODOK wants to like find out more about the quantum realm where he got sent. And it's just I can go into so much about it, but it's just like, bro, like I think MODOK fits the perfect like hilarious tone that is Ant-Man. And in my perfect world, how Ant-Man 1 was a heist movie and Ant-Man 2 was a buddy cop movie, Ant-Man 3 would have been the jailbreak movie. And it's just
Yeah.
like, dude, that would have been sick, bro. I love MODOK. I love him. I think he would have been the perfect villain overall for Ant-Man in the watch Quantumania. Not the Avengers level threat, right, that we have looming overhead with Kang. And I think Kang would have been was a great introduction in this movie. But having like MODOK kind of just like behind it all in the main like foil to Scott Lang, it would have went full circle. And it fits the rules of a threequel because the past comes back to haunt you, right?
Yeah. Exactly. That would have been perfect for me. Like I remember hearing forever ago on another podcast that I do remember if you remember from Ant-Man and the Wasp, the second Ant-Man movie, there was that other company that was chasing Scott and Hank for whatever reason it was. They were talking about that other vendor they were working for. And I was like, oh, they were like this other podcast that I was listening to was just like, oh, what if that's how they work in AIM into the MCU? That's how you can explain in MODOK. And I think MODOK, again, on a principle, he's just this big stupid head in the chair. Like he would have been the perfect Ant-Man villain, like you mentioned. He would have been so it would have been big scale enough where it has stakes, but like I said, it would have been still small scale enough to where it's still he's not the Avengers level threat, but you still have fun with a character with a very
Yes.
iconic character from Marvel's library. And but that being said, though, he was like MODOK's really fucking funny in this movie. Like people were bashing him online, saying he looks like George Lopez from the Spy Kids movies, which like I get it. Like he's a big CG head stretched out. It's gonna look fucking weird. But the thing is, MODOK was always gonna look stupid no matter how they were gonna try to do this. Like there unfortunately is no way around it. But they poke fun at that at his expense. It's like everybody has a comment to make about him, and then you you go through that his whole saga of how where Cassie's talking, he's like, you're a dick, and he's like, I am a dick. He just has this come to Jesus moment, and then that whole monologue he has after he eventually, tries to turn good. And he's like, "My name is Darren Cross, and I am not a dick." And he fucking dies right there. And that whole fucking speech that he has, I was fucking in tears laughing, man. It was like I know for some people it wasn't gonna work, but for me, I thought it was fucking hilarious. It was
it's just like
so good.
Like everything comes full circle, like I said, and it was just like, bro, during the first movie, you were a dick the whole time. You were just mean. Like you didn't care about anybody but you. And like the fact that he's just like, it's still like, bro, I felt like we were just brothers, and he's like, no, we weren't. Like we were never together like this.
It's like, at least I get to die in Avenger. It's like, yep. You're on the team. It's just like, oh my god, I'm fucking crying. So like that aspect of it was fun. I guess some other character notes for me is that I loved Catherine Newton in this movie. I thought she was fun. I think I liked the it's just another young Avenger for the Arsenal.
Right.
I thought she was actually gonna be more annoying than she actually was, because like in the trailer to show her getting out of jail, and I'm just like, she's just gonna be like an edgy teenager and just like a jerk the whole time. But in reality, she was fine. I liked her relationship with Scott. It felt very, it felt authentic considering the fact this is again the third actress to play, technically this second actress as an adult Cassie Lang. Michael Douglas gets to do some shit in this movie, which is fun. As we get to the, we'll get to the final battle and the other stuff afterwards. William Jackson Harper making great use of his screen time as Quaz, as a guy that just can't stop reading minds. Like that guy and it's David Dalsmanch, I think the guy's name is.
David, the comic book acting god.
Yes,
known as David Dasmalkian, bro. Listen,
yes,
he's in everything. You just don't know it yet. Polka Dot Man. He was literally one of the people in the Ant-Man crew.
Yeah, Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga, bro. He's in that new movie, The Boogeyman. He's in I think he was in The Dark Knight. Huh?
Oh, I didn't know. I think he was in Dune also. I didn't know he was in Dark Knight.
He was in Dune, and he was in The Dark Knight.
That's crazy.
Acting, comic book acting god, bro. You just didn't know it, bro.
Like that whole joke about like he's like, oh, I finally have holes. Like it's just like it's dumb humor. Like William Jackson Harper got to cook a little bit in this movie too. I've always been a huge fan of his. He's been in a lot of people's fan casting for Reed Richards. So, like, when people saw he was getting cast in this movie or something, everyone was just like, are they doing it? And I was like, nah, Marvel would never be that clever. It's going to be Penn Badgley, and you guys are going to have to fucking deal with it. So, no! He's going to have internal monologues about how much he... I mean, it's fitting, because, like, at least... Listen, Joe Goldberg gets cucked. So, it happens.
Like I'm just like, bro, please, just because like this Harper as Reed, come on, bro, it fits the casting, bro. We know that Kang is Franklin Richards from the 31st century. Come on, guys, let's not do this. But like, also, Marvel did come through for us once during Doctor Strange, to where like literally like that one moment in the movie had the whole theater like screaming. Like loud. It was just like, bro, like.
Do you think he's the Mr. Fantastic going forward, and like everything else is just like rumors?
I don't know, honestly. Marvel has perfected the bait and switch, honestly.
They really have.
So, I would say Oh God, like they're casting Sue Storm first, so
That's
it's
right.
just
Yeah,
like
that's true.
and I think that's really interesting because they're just gonna build out the entire team from her, and I'm just like, yo, like I don't know who it could be, bro. And there's been so
I've
many
seen
fan
Kristen Bell as a
castings.
rumored name floating around.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen her.
Seriously?
I've seen her name in circles. I've seen why am I blanking on John Krasinski's wife again? What's
Oh,
her face?
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
obviously like a hot casting rumor as well. So
yeah, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell. God, Kristen Bell would actually be that'd be crazy. I'm not gonna lie, Kristen Bell would be dope. Oh
I can
man,
dig it.
definitely,
I mean,
definitely,
like I said,
man.
they replaced Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle, and we all just kind of moved on from it. So
We just like all right. Oh, it was fine. It's fine. No one cares.
yeah, I literally skipped that movie when I was rewatching this. When I did like my MCU rewatch with like with
You skipped Iron Man too.
yeah, I was like, listen, all you need to know is it's like I gave like the clip notes of Scarlett Johansson is now exists as the Black Widow, and Terrence Howard is now Don Cheadle. So we're just gonna
God,
move right
damn.
along.
Is it that bad? Do you think? Do you think like if you had to look? Okay, so Eternals, right? Thor: The Dark World,
Yeah.
Iron Man 2. Okay, you gotta watch one, keep one, burn one, right?
Okay, I will definitely yeah, I'll definitely keep Iron. I don't hate Iron Man 2 that much. I will keep that movie.
Okay.
I don't hate that movie that much. I will watch Thor: The Dark World because I actually don't think that movie's as bad as everyone says it is. Like
I agree, honestly.
I think it's fine, but I don't think it's like bottom tier like basement level. So I hate the Eternals. I hated that. I hated that movie from start to fucking finish. Like that movie was it looked beautiful. Chloe Zhao's an amazing director. And I was so bored. It was so boring.
I told people I was just like, let's be real, bro. Like this isn't going to be one of these situations to where the director is going to make you care about the Eternals.
Yeah. Like I don't
It's
care
not.
that Icarus had sex on the beach, bro. I don't care.
We don't like. I was watching this and I'm just like, bro. I gotta be honest with you. We don't care. Okay, we don't care. Now there have been times to where amazing directors like James Gunn, they've made me care about shit. Like I didn't
Sure.
give a. I gotta be honest with you. I didn't give a fuck about no Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't.
Me neither.
I did not care. But then all of a sudden, two banger movies. Peacemaker. I'm like, bro, this villain is C
Yeah.
tier. I don't know where he's going with this, but whatever. Literally one of the best shows DC's ever made. So it's just like
Now, yeah.
So it's just so I'm sitting here. I'm just like, hey, bro, if you can make me care about the character, then I got full confidence in you. I don't give a fuck about no Eternals. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Eternals was one of those movies where it's just like, bro, I need something to pick up. I need these characters to get interesting, like really, really fast, and it never happened. It only got slower.
Yeah.
It got slower, bro.
It was tough. The Black Knight's cool though, but that's neither here nor there. All right, so let's talk about the climax here of Ant-Man and the Wasp. And I think this is again one of the issues we mentioned. Obviously Kang gets his whole multiversal chair working again. He's going to now take his army and flee. And then Scott goes full Godzilla mode. There's a cool fight sequence which I really enjoyed.
Oh yeah.
And then we get that line where he's like, I've conquered. You said something along the lines of, "I've conquered universes. You control ants." It was start laughing, and then that's when you find out again. Alluded to earlier in the film that there is a bunch of ants that got thrusted into the quantum realm with everybody. They get shipped into the future where where they existed for thousands of years. They invented their own technology, this and that. Like Jeff Loveness wrote for Rick and Morty. That part of the plot felt the most Rick and Morty out of the whole thing. It's just like there's this whole society of ants just like living thousands of years, advancing technology, and then Kang gets kind of fucked up by ants, and I'm just like, all right,
Look,
whatever.
and this is what I was saying because I was just like, if that happened to MODOK, it'd be like, oh shit, that's hilarious. That's also very fitting. But for Kang the Conqueror to be fucked up by Ant-Man, I'm just like, really, guys, is this what we're doing? Is this
It's
how we're gonna kick this off?
it's tough. Yeah, it's like, you look at what happened to Black Widow in Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. They took, this sort of beloved Avenger, they kind of tried and they turned her into this likable, awful character, and now we don't know what her fate as a character is. And it kind of, I feel like that movie diminished a lot of Wanda's character, what we were trying to develop with her. And I feel like that scene alone, just this whole sequence here, obviously we have that whole epic fight scene where, everybody's eventually trying to go, the Ant family is trying to get back to their part of Earth. And then, Scott gets his brakes beat off by Kang. I will say I'm much more excited for Creed 3 now than I was going into that movie. Just watching Jonathan Majors just straight manhandle Paul Rudd's face. Like that was some rough shit. But yeah, we end up with that, And again, I got to watch a lot of the trailers after the first one because I feel like a lot of the trailers after the fact were spoiling this stuff. But I was like, there's no way Kang's gonna lose here, right? And like we don't know if he dies or not. Scott kind of does what Janet does with his time battery, where he just throws a bunch of his fucking expand his shrinking and expanding discs on it, and it short circuits, and Kang just gets kind of sucked into it. We don't know if he's dead or not. I don't want to assume that he's dead, but like I feel like that whole ending sequence really diminishes Kang the Conqueror as a character because like. He was the exiled one. These other guys hated him so much. They had to get this guy the fuck out of there. And now he's just like I feel like that. Am I going to be more afraid of these Kangs moving forward if they're just going to keep killing them? I don't know. How do you feel?
It's the Rick and Morty thing, right? Like who's the kangiest Kang?
Yeah.
who is the king of all Kangs? Like for real. And like if this is the Kang that they exiled, right? Because he was the most dangerous, and that really brings the question, right? Who is the Kang C-137?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it the one who is it? He who remains? Was he the Kang? Was he Kang C-137, or was it this Kang who was the Kangiest Kang? Right? And like that's really what begs the question. Is just like, bro, like one of you Kangs is literally gonna destroy the Avengers, right? One of you Kangs is gonna find a way to win, right? So which one of you is the most dangerous? And I guess that's where the fun of the multiversal saga is gonna be, because we don't know which Kang is gonna do the most insane damage. Let's be honest. If you get beat by Ant-Man, you're kind of mid. Let's be real. If you get beat by Ant-Man, you're kind of mid. And if you're that level of villain, I can't wait to see how bad your variants get, right?
Yeah, that's true. You know what it is? So like, so again, the movie eventually ends with Scott eventually going back to the real world. And, there is a conversation earlier in the film where he says, if I fail to get out, that's where the rest of my variants are going to show up and everything's going to get a lot, everything's going to get a lot worse for you guys. And Scott kind of has this fucking panic attack where he's like, did I do the right thing? Like, what am I going to do, guys? And he's like, what anybody with anxiety does, he just kind of ignores it. He's like, I'm sure it'll be fine. So he, and then we get to two, and I got to say, for the first time in a while, these post-credit scenes actually hit for me because I got really tired of Marvel doing that thing where in the post-credit scenes for Phase 4 were just them showing me these cameos for characters that I'm not going to give a shit about for at least the next 3 years. Like, okay, you got me Harry Styles in the MCU. Cool. We got, oh God, why am I blanking on Clea's actress's name? What the fuck is her name again? I'm blanking. We got Clea.
What movie is that?
That's Doctor Strange.
Oh, right. Charlize Theron. Yeah, there we go. So, like, Charlize Theron's in the MCU. Cool. The guy from Ted Lasso's in the MCU. Cool. As Hercules. That's fun. Whatever. But I'm just like, I don't care about these characters. Like, this is doing nothing. Like, if you're a fan of the comics, that you're freaking out. You're having a good time. I like Hercules as an MCU character because I think he's dumb. He's stupid. It's funny. Like, but as like a big picture, I was like, I don't care about this. Like. So eventually, we get taken to what is presumably Battle World, which is cool. Like, oh my God. Oh my
Like
god, bro.
like I said, if you're someone who's complaining about you don't know what the big picture of Phase 5 is going to be, this movie does a great job holding your hand and just kind of shoving it down your like very gracefully feeding it down your throat. So, we get access to we see the three big Kangs. Again, Kang has a lot of forms, as we can see in this stadium. There's only like a handful of them that are actually like important. We get introduced to Ramatut, who's one of the big ones. Who I can presume to be, I think that the robot one is either Kang Prime or he's the Iron Lad. I think
He's Silver Centurion.
the Silver Centurion. Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
he's a Silver Centurion.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
And then
Ramatut was the Kang that was so petty. He's the Kang from the 31st century, but went back in time to rule Egypt because he could.
yeah. Also alluded to that he exists in Moon Knight, so that could be a fun wrinkle for Oscar Isaacs in future seasons of that show. And then the big one is Immortus, obviously one of the more popular ones. And I was like, okay, so they've acknowledged that the exiled one has passed away, and they're like, they're aware of the multiverse. He's just all raspy. He's like, we must destroy them or whatever.
Music to my ears, bro.
I gotta say,
time. Like, oh my god, bro, this is, and like that shot where they like enter the stadium. Oh, by the way, this is the same technology that Reed Richards used in Multiverse of Madness, by the way. So yeah, little tidbit right there. But the fact that they were just like, basically, imagine Arrowhead Stadium, but we're mobbing nothing but Kangs. Like that's what that place looked like. And I was just like, hey, bro, I like a wave came over me because I was like, this is fucking cool, bro. This is fucking tight. And it's just not. It's Kang the Conqueror, sure, but it's like, yo, this is what, like, if Ant-Man had got to deal with this, like, which one of y'all is the most, like, dangerous? And that's kind of like what they're alluding to. It's just like, bro, it's going to get worse.
Yeah. One of the hot topics of the MCU right now is who's going to be playing Doctor Doom moving forward. And I jokingly said that, like, what if we just go, like, the route where, they do the Nathaniel Richards that was Doctor Doom at some point, and then Jonathan Majors plays Doctor Doom in Fantastic Four? That could very much be an option. Like Jonathan Majors could just be the bad guy in like all of these movies moving forward. Which again, like you said, who's going to be the Kang Prime? Who's going to be Kang C-137?
I'm telling you.
I watched the new Rockstars video that broke down all the Easter eggs of the Kangs. One of them shows up in like a tuxedo, who you can presume to be Mr. Griffin, who is the founder of Kang Enterprises, which is what eventually Avengers Tower turns into in the comic books, and that's also a Easter egg in Loki. So, that's all, fine and dandy. So, we get to see what the Kang dynasty looks like. And, supposedly Jeff Loveness is one of the writers on that film. It is being directed by Shang-Chi director Destin Daniel Cretton. I love Shang-Chi. That movie is top 10, is free IMO in the MCU. So I'm excited to see his direction on that. I didn't necessarily love all of Jeff Loveness's writing in this film, but hopefully, there's enough other people in that writing room to kind of give me like a proper Kang story. But then we get to that second cameo scene where we get we're taken back to this sort of vaudeville, like 1920s sort of peep. I don't want to say a peep show, but it's like a science experiment, magic sideshow sort of thing, featuring none other than Victor Timely, again one of the other major Kang variants from the comic books. Who founded Timely, Wisconsin, and this is one of his many accomplishments. And then, we hear him having this monologue about time, and then you pan out to the audience, and none other than Loki himself, Mr. Tom Hiddleston, is like, "That's him. He's the one." And Owen Wilson's like, "Wow, he doesn't look that scary." Wow,
wow.
Yeah, but wow. The second cameo is more or less just a setup for Loki season 2, where it's presumably Loki and Mobius are going to be going through time trying to find out, maybe trying to stop Victor Timely from becoming Kang the Conqueror. Yes. If we're talking about who the most dangerous Kang is, I definitely think it's He Who Remains, the one that's like the scariest.
I agree.
that guy fucked everything up.
Yeah, like because he was the one who was just supposed to like literally just sit there and like keep time like in check, but because he was just like, hey, bro, I really don't want to do this anymore. So, but not excuse me, not the fact that he didn't want to do it anymore. It was because he ran out of time. Like there was a point to where he couldn't look forward into the future anymore. So he was just like, all right, so I actually need to rectify this problem. So one of you two can take over, and I can stop making and one of you two can create Nexus events and start plucking people from timelines because I can't see past this point anymore. So it's like he's the king who knew everything. You know what I mean? He knew how it
Yeah,
was all going to go down.
I'd
So
say
yeah, I agree.
I saw a rumor online that perhaps the Kana gets sent back through the time chair core thing is actually the Victor Timely we see at the end of the post credit scene. It's possible. I think at the end of the day, like I don't think that version of Kang is dead. I don't think Kang the Conqueror himself is dead. I think that Kang is just going to be stuck in some time loop where he's eventually going to break out and all hell's going to break loose. And we'll see what happens from there. But that's essentially the end of Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania. If you have any other thoughts, I definitely think this is much more of a setup movie for Phase 5, if anything. So whether or not these other movies we get this year or the other TV shows we get this year set anything else up, I'm not sure. But at the very least, I'm excited for a little bit more of a clearer picture, and as somebody that's like deeply invested in the MCU already, I don't plan on stopping. So I'm excited to see where we might see these characters next. If you haven't, what are your closing thoughts?
Um, this is definitely a setup movie. I agree with you 100%. I feel like for this movie, I said in a review on TikTok, I said, look, the movie is just middle of the road, checks all the boxes. And honestly, people, you need to learn how to temper your expectations. Like, I don't know. Now, I do understand about how basically Disney and Marvel, they kind of played it up a little bit, like, hey, this is a big deal. I get it. And I get how some of y'all might have felt betrayed. At the same time, you temper your expectations. I don't know how bombastic of a movie you wanted Ant-Man to be, but this is what I say. You got to make sure you temper your expectations. But the movie for me is middle of the road. Is it terrible? Absolutely not. Is it groundbreakingly bangers good? No. It's an all right movie. It has some very, very great moments with some very, very questionable and troubled writing. I still think the movie is decent enough, and it does set up a very good job for Kang the Conqueror in the MCU.
Yeah, I'm so excited for what we get in Phase 5. And again, movie wise, our slate is pretty light this year. There's still two more movies coming out, so we have Guardians of the Galaxy coming out in May. The conclusion that's definitely going to be one to make me. I think the emotions you were looking for in Ant-Man, you're definitely going to get in that movie. I'm going to cry like a bitch.
Yeah.
And we have the Marvels coming out in November, which again gives you time to breathe. Doesn't make your summer feel less crowded. So I think that movie is going to be a lot of fun. As for I guess we're supposed to be getting Secret Invasion and Loki this year, upon other things alluded to, but I don't know what the fuck Marvel's going to do with their TV slate. I heard rumors that they're releasing like 5 shows this year. I've read things online that they're only going to release Secret Invasion and Loki. Either way, I'm excited for both those shows if that's the case, and we'll see what happens as the year moves on. But again, we promised you 2 reviews tonight. Now to talk about the actual best movie of the year.
Oh yeah.
Folks, there's a little tidbit that came out this weekend called Cocaine Bear, directed by the ever wonderful Elizabeth Banks. Effie
Yes.
fucking Trinket directed a movie about a bear on cocaine. First and foremost. So, this movie, Lord and fucking Miller, Spider-Verse, almost solo. We don't talk about that, but
God, I fucking wish. Jeez. Oh my God, bro.
another podcast.
God.
Although Alden Heinrich, whatever the guy's fucking name is in this movie, so good for him. Yeah, this movie has some of Hollywood's best and brightest attached to it. In what is a loose adaptation of the Cocaine Bear from 1985, a bear in the Chattahoochee Mountains of Georgia. that ate a bag of ate like 40 bags worth of cocaine, and in real life the bear dies. But in this, instead, we get a 95-minute romp of what is it was so camp. So Banjo, talk to me about your Cocaine Bear experience. Where were your expectations at, and were they firmly met?
And y'all are and people are gonna listen or watch this podcast and call me crazy. I said that movie was gonna be top 10 of 2023 when I saw the poster. Because I said, this shit is insane enough for this movie to work. And I was right, bro. That movie was absolutely it was just fucking like bonkers. And it's one of these things to where it's like, the movie is so, it's not afraid to be what it is without overbearing on the premise of it, right? Like, it's one of those it's a situation where, okay, we don't want to like hammer the joke home too hard. We still want to make a cohesive story about it. But this is about Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
This like, and listen, we've seen many a creature feature. We're both movie guys. We've seen the Anaconda, Shark Night, like Eight-Legged Freaks, Arachnophobia, Lake Placid. We've seen these things, right? We've seen these things before. But this like makes like going to the movies, this is the fun part of what going to the movies is about. Cocaine Bear is one of these. Cocaine Bear is a movie to where it doesn't take itself seriously. It doesn't hammer the joke home over and over again. It's not afraid to be exactly what the movie is. This movie reminded me so hard of Hobo with a Shotgun. Like, and it's just like, what and people are gonna go in asking, but the movie's it's so stupid, it's so dumb. And it's like, bro, it's Cocaine Bear. What did you expect was going to happen? What did you like? Once again, here we are, full circle, tempering our expectations, guys. It's Cocaine Bear. Like, what did you expect in the movie was going to happen? And that's that basic idea. That simple idea is what made the movie Alien. Is what made it work. What are the motivations of Cocaine Bear? What does the Cocaine Bear want? The Cocaine Bear wants cocaine, and the Cocaine Bear is gonna do whatever it can to get more cocaine. And if you're in the way of Cocaine Bear, you're going to die. And guess what happened?
A lot of people died in this movie.
A lot of people died, bro. A lot of people died, bro. It was gory. It was hilarious. It was. Oh my god, bro! Like, this is the cultural reset that movies needed, because we need to learn how to like. Oh, this crazy ass premise is going to be in the movies this week. Let's go check it out. That's the shit that movies need.
I wholeheartly agree. Once I saw that this movie was a concept, I was both feet in, immediately sold. I'm just like, I love like alternate history take movies. It's why Inglourious Basterds is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, you're telling me that Hitler died in a burning movie theater while someone was raining on him with a machine gun? Sure, I'll believe it. Like, I like that's why Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is such a great movie as well. Like, they took Elizabeth Banks, bless her heart, took this ridiculous concept, and again, you're tempering your expectations. This movie is just no jokes, no pun intended. It's the bare minimum. Like, it's not gonna do anything flashy. It doesn't give you this this, like you said, it doesn't give you this like deep backstory as to why the bear does cocaine. The bear just ate cocaine and wants more cocaine and will kill to get said cocaine. Like, it was the exact level of 1980s camp and B movie horror that I love. It was so like Frankenhooker, or like of that same vein of like these really obscure fucking like B horror slasher films from the 80s, and like that is like one of my favorite like genres of camp. It was so stupid. Like, do you watch these, like you watch fucking 12-year-olds do cocaine in this movie? It's so funny. O'Shea Jackson gets his fingers shot off in this movie.
It's so
he gets
fucking
stabbed.
funny, bro.
Like everything in this movie is just like there's so many people that fail upwards in this movie. It is so fucking funny. Like I it's hard to give this movie like an in-depth review of what it is, but it's just like the movie is gonna, it's gonna make money at even if it doesn't make money at the box office, it's gonna be a cult hit. People are gonna watch. Like I'm going to take everyone that I know to see this movie at some point because it's just so stupid in concept that everybody has to watch it. Like that whole sequence, like in the fucking with the fucking ambulance and the park ranger.
Oh my
like
god,
that, like
bro!
which like I was screaming and laughing at the same time. It was insane.
Like, bro, like the fact that like so much can go wrong in like a slapstick comedy type of way. That's that shit. That's just like, man, they really got a gem with this movie, bro. And whether it does successfully whether this is successfully received at the box office or not, bro, I agree with you, bro. We gonna be vibing to this movie for the rest of the year. I think once this thing hits streaming, it's a wrap. I guarantee
bro.
I guarantee it. Once this movie hits like the Netflixes and the Amazon videos, bro, it's a wrap. Everybody's
Cocaine Bear and chill, bro.
Yeah, honestly. And now the rumor mill, right, is that there's sequels in the works, right? They're talking about I got it written down right here. Crystal meth puppies. and Adderall alligator as possible sequels, bro. If you think I won't throw my money at this shit, you're bugging, bro.
I think my new favorite genre movie just dropped, where it's just like animals on drugs.
Animals on drugs, bro.
Give me more of that shit. Inject it into my veins, bro. That shit's so funny. And like to think that this is the last movie that the late great Ray Liotta, New Jersey legend, ever did. What a way to go out, man. Thank God it was like, listen, I saw The Many Saints of Newark. That movie sucked. That movie was fucking terrible.
It took so long, bro. God,
wild disappointment. It's just like, thank God that, again, Ray Liotta is he's always gonna have Goodfellas. He's always gonna have the mobster movies. Let my man go out as a fucking drug dealer who gets his intestines dragged out by bear cubs who were covered in cocaine. Like, God bless. Chef's kiss.
That is like, and that's peak cinema. And this is what I'm talking about, to where we got to learn how to have fun at the movies again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we've gotten in this mode in the last, like, decade or so, to where it's just like, oh, we have to go check out this sequel. We have to go check out the next installment in this universe of this franchise. We got to check out the next A24 movie, right? Not to say that any of those are bad, but sometimes we need, as moviegoers, we need fun and just crazy, just fresh ideas like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I think Cocaine Bear was gonna work? Fuck no, but I'm glad it did. I'm super happy it did. I had a fun time, bro.
Where does this rank? Where does this rank on the pantheon of cocaine movies?
Oh, we got to put this in between. Below Scarface, but better than Blow.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Like, it's like Scarface, then there's a gap, Cocaine Bear, and then there's Blow. Like, that's
yeah.
That's the trifecta of cocaine movies.
Yeah. That's pretty accurate, actually.
I vibe with it, man. I this is exactly what I wanted. Like, I love. Like my ideal movies are like, again, I love these cultural resets. Like, not everything has to be this like overarching like big serious plot thing. Like, one of my favorite movies from last year was the Impossible Weight of Infinite Talent. Like, I thought that movie was exactly everything that I wanted to be. It's Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage alongside Pedro Pascal, who I love. And that showed, like again, I knew Nicolas Cage out of principles. I knew I was going to enjoy the movie because Nicolas Cage is in it. But you're telling me I get to watch Pedro Pascal flex and do comedy to show that he could do comedy? Like, oh my God. Like, it was like, I love just those like dumb fucking movies. Like even Don't Worry, Darling, like, which was a bad movie. Like, it's still fed to my lowest common denominator. And granted, I loved everything about that movie, like circulating it, like culturally, like that whole press period was fantastic. But like that movie on its principle, like I love the genre of Big Brother is watching. It's why like the Truman Show is one of my favorite movies of all time, and like why I enjoyed WandaVision so much when it came out. I love that concept of it. But just like watching these, just like it's a bad campy movie. Like I can turn my brain off and watch a bad movie unless it's Knock at the Cabin. That movie was fucking terrible, but I will never watch that again. That's.
Look, I've given M. Night Shyamalan more than enough chances, bro. After what's the name tanked? After what was that? Glass? After Glass tanked, after the success of Split and how fucking incredible that movie was.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay. So you're trying to play with me. You're trying to fuck with me, M. Night, because you made this really good movie and then you follow it up with ass. All right. You got me once. And then you release Old. Yeah, nice try. Nice try, buddy. Loading them both at the barrel. I got it. Yeah. I got it, bro.
Yeah, you thought. You really thought. So
And people, don't forget, like, if you guys are like wanting to be like, oh, we need to be involved in if you guys want to hop back on the standard movie franchise train, bro, like March got 3 bangers coming up, right? So this week is Creed. 2 weeks and
can't
wait. They said that movie's great. After the embargo release. So this week, end of the week, you got Creed. A couple weeks after that, you got Scream 6. And then a couple weeks after that, and then I think a week after that, actually, you got John Wick 4. Okay. So you got 3 different, you got a sports movie, you got a sports movie, a horror movie, and then you got an action movie, bro. Crazy, bro. And you know what? And also, if you haven't seen any Scream since, like, actually, let me ask you something, Koopa. Has there been a bad Scream movie?
I don't think so. I've liked all the Scream movies. I know that they leave a lot to be desired sometimes, but I think they've all been solid. Like,
wow, 5 good. No, I was just thinking about that because I'm just like,
it's weird, right, to think about.
Right, it's just like Scream has never had a bad movie, That's impressive on their end, and then the fact that they're trying to find themselves like relevant in this whole space of like, you know, slasher films, you know, they're not a thing anymore, right? Unless it's like ridiculously super gory, like what's that one movie? Like Terrifier or something like that. So a movie like this, like a stock movie like this, is rare. But Scream has still been doing it and finding a way to be culturally relevant. They're like the Simpsons of horror movies.
Yeah, they just keep making them. Also, speaking of horror movies, I keep seeing these trailers for Renfield keep popping up. You know, the Nicolas Cage Dracula vehicle, and I'm so excited to watch that movie as well. Like, that's again, I public domain is amazing. Put Dracula in everything. That's it. Just do it. Because you know why? Because you fucking can. Because it's Dracula. Nobody owns him. Just do it, folks.
I think Universal Movie Studios is kind of going off this year because they're the people who are just like, let's just fucking make some movies, guys. Like, this is why we're here. Let's just fucking make some movies. They already released Cocaine Bear, so they got Renfield coming up. They also have Strays coming up this summer, which is gonna be
fucking hilarious.
The R-rated Homeward Bound movie, bro. That's gonna be fucking dope. And then they got Fast 10, which is looking to be like it's exactly what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, like, listen, I've tried to preach the good gospel of the Fast movies to my friends for a while. Like, those movies, like, they become so much less about the cars and it becomes so much more about just these like stupid fucking action movies, and they're fucking great. They're junk food. Like, the only thing stronger than this is family, baby. It's family. It's all about family, like, and fast cars. And like, now Jason Momoa is fast, and Brie Larson's fast, and Rita fucking Moreno is fast. Like, come on, man. Like, sign me the fuck up. Like, I'm so excited. Like,
yeah. Also, when they shot the fucking harpoons in the doors, and then fucking Vin Diesel just hits the gas, and then the helicopters crash. I'm just like, all right, y'all got me, bro.
Yeah. Y'all remember when this movie was about racing? Me neither. Also, just for the record, if you're a director out there, the best way for me to, if you want me to like be there day one when your movie releases, just put on the screen from the creators of 21 Jump Street because I will be there.
Oh, same.
Like once I saw that Strays was done by the guys from 21 Jump Street, I was like, sign me the fuck up. Like I watch that movie 6 ways a fucking Sunday.
Oh yeah,
Like
100%.
I'm about it.
Like,
But
I don't think people realize that like Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are just like literally like, hey, like y'all need a movie being made. It's like there's a couple of like pairs in Hollywood that okay, no matter what comes out, we can't be denied. So Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen, right?
great.
Responsible for Invincible and also Preacher.
And the boys, I'm pretty sure.
And the boys, yeah. Who is that? The Russo brothers. You already know what it is. Quintessential fucking white knuckling, just fucking action movies, no matter what. All good. And of course, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, who have been responsible for some of the most, without it being meta, the most meta comedy, the most hilarious movies, heartfelt, beautifully animated. These guys are responsible for 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, Into the Spider-Verse, the Lego movie. Like, nah, bro. And I think
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Like,
yes, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, bro. Like, these guys make kids movies and comedies, and now they're making this movie Stray. Yeah, bro. Oh, and they produce Cocaine Bear. That's really
yeah.
like, what more?
Exactly.
What more are you asking for? Like, they literally are. They have their hands in everything, bro.
If they produced Solo Man, it would have been over. Like that movie, like that movie could have been saved by by Lord and Miller.
Can you do a podcast of just like start the success and failures of just Star Wars as a franchise, bro?
We'll
I
put that
go,
in once Mando season 3 finishes. We'll make it happen. So
I'm there.
That drops in a couple of weeks. So, but we'll save that for later. But that wraps up what I believe. I wanted to do a longer episode today, just kind of give the folks something to look forward to coming back. You know, I'm gonna try to get myself down to a schedule. You will be getting a podcast at least once a week. So, you know, this podcast will be going up sometime between today and next Friday. So we're gonna we'll probably be putting this up in the middle of the week. We'll again, I don't want to put myself to a schedule because you know your boy still has a full-time job. So, but we're back to the content train. And Banjo, thank you so much for sitting on the ship with me, brother. Let the people know speak the goodness. Where can the good people on the internet find you? What do you been let them know?
Hey, listen, make sure you guys catch me at Banjo Plays Banjo on the Twitter and on the Instagram. I post a lot of music content nowadays, especially with me DJing. I post a lot of my content on there. I also have a SoundCloud.
It's all great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I also have a SoundCloud. So it's SoundCloud.com/DJ Banjo, right? As far as esports goes, I will not be a collision. The next gig that I'm gonna be at is Texas Reverie. That's the Texas Summit that they have. That's gonna be taking place in Austin with Texas's best players. It's gonna be very exciting to watch some fresh up and coming Smash talent. 2 Mega Men got into the summit, so that'll be fun-ish.
Love that.
And in April, we have I will be at Texas Showdown in the middle of the month for sure. And finally in May is going to be when I'm going to be, making my return back to Smash Brothers. We do have the low tier cities coming up. So those will be really, really something to look forward to. But other than that, I'm going to be just like you guys, watching all the summits, watching every tournament I can, and of course, turning into the Koop'd Up podcast, as it were.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And again, if you guys want to keep up with us, we are on Twitter at Koop'd Up Pod. All the links for everything is going to be there. We're still on the Believe Podcast Network. So if you guys are into sports and pop culture, that's one of the best sites in the world for being able to bring that stuff together. So definitely check that out if you're a fan of that. And, check out the YouTube channel as well. I'm going to try to, something I want to experiment with is, doing short stuff for advertisements, but also, that short form content is huge right now. But also that's where the video of the VODs are gonna be going, every week. If you guys want to watch this in video form, if you choose to do so. But yeah, follow me on Twitter at Koopa and J. I got Collision coming up in March. I have one thing I can't talk about just yet coming up in March as well, but that's gonna be a fun thing as well. I just tweet about the Pokemon cards that I'm collecting and playing with. So check me out on Twitch. That's been some content that I've been doing, just trying out some different deck lists and playing Smash and just kind of shooting shit with my friends. I might so we got this podcast coming out soon. We're gonna, by the time this comes up, the Pokemon stuff will already be out, so there's gonna be an episode of that coming up. It's a good time to be a Pokemon fan right now. It's a good time to be a content lord. So we're gonna, I hope you guys are excited for 2023 holds for the podcast. And we'll catch you guys on the flip side. So have yourselves a wonderful evening and take care.